It might not happen immediately. You might go through something in my hand and you might not just become who you want to become. But the lessons learned in that situation, you never know when you might need it. You never know when it might help you. Life does not just give you answers, but it gives you experiences that shape you.
Hi, Angel. Welcome to our Evolution Diary podcast with your host, Esther Brody. Our Evolution Diary podcast is basically just my diary where I document how I'm growing and evolving into the best version of myself. And I hope I can bring you on the journey to evolving and growing and also become the best version of yourself. I hope you're here for the long haul. Enjoy. Mwah.
Hi Angel, welcome back to another episode of Evolutionary Podcast, your safe space for self-growth, self-discovery, and evolving into your higher self. It's your host, Esther, and I hope you're having a beautiful, wonderful, fantastic day. I hope your day is off to a great start. I hope life is working out perfectly for you. I just hope everything is aligning in your favor. So, hi guys, welcome back to another episode. Today, I'll be talking about growing through what you go through. And before we get right into that, I'm going to say our question, quote, and affirmation for the week. Our question for the week is: what is this season trying to teach me about who I am becoming? Our quote for the week is: you are not what you've been through, you are what you've overcome, learned, and chosen to become. Our affirmation for the week is: I am growing through every challenge, becoming stronger, wiser, and more aligned with my purpose. Yeah, guys, so let's get right into today's podcast episode. Like I said earlier, today we'll be talking about growing through what you go through. And life is filled with challenges. Life is hard. I mean, life is good, but life is hard. And there is no success without growing pains. There is no success without a little bit of struggle. But today we're going to be talking about how to grow through those struggles, how to see those struggles in a positive light. I know sometimes it can be hard to see things in a positive light, to shift things to be positive. But today I'm just going to give you a little bit of advice on how to grow through those things and not allow your hard moments to define you, not to allow your hard moments to keep you stuck, and to move through those hard moments. And I want you to pause. I want you to pause. I want you to think for a moment and think, if what if everything that tried to break you was actually building you? What if the pain, the confusion, or the discomfort you're facing is the soil which your growth is rooted in? Just what if? Why not think of what ifs in the positive? And it's so easy to think of what if in the negative, but why not think of the what ifs in the positive? What if this moment is trying to build me? What if this moment is trying to make me achieve what I've always dreamed of? What if this moment is taking me to the life that I've always wanted to live? Like, what if? Now, to reframe the pain from setback to setup, to reframe your pain from seeing it as a terrible moment in your life to something amazing. How about that? You need to realize that your pain either makes you bitter or better. Period. It either makes you bitter or better. So why not choose the one that is going to make your life better? I know at times it can be really hard. You can hear me saying all of this and be like, girl, bye. And trust me, I've been through my own fair share of problems, my own fair share of hard times. And I know that it can be really hard to move from that point of stagnation to a point where you can see the positive in the situation. But you need to realize that everyone is going through something. Everyone is going through something that is hard, that is tough, that is just not good. And some people choose to experience growth after the adversity. Some people choose to live a good life even after what has happened to them. Some people choose to make the most out of their situations, even though they are going through the most. I need to realize that I'm not being punished. Like, this is not a punishment. I used to think that if this is not one thing about me, I used to think I was being punished. I used to beg God that if it's my sin, He should forgive me. That what did I do to deserve what I'm going through? And most of the things I've gone through have just prepared me for the things I've been praying for, the things that I've wished for. And just realize that you're not being punished, you are being prepared. And growth does not only just come in good seasons. And most of the time, your growth comes in the hard seasons. And hard seasons are just a setup for a stronger, wiser, more grounded version of you. They are just a setup for you to become a better version of yourself. So if you are currently in a hard season, just see it as a stepping stone to something better, a stepping stone to something greater. And there are lessons in the pain. You need to realize that in every pain, in every situation, there are lessons to be learned. And instead of asking yourself, why is this happening to me? Why not ask yourself, what is this teaching me? Like, what's this season of my life teaching me? I think that's what our question for this episode was all about. Just what is this season of life trying to teach me about who I want to become? Remember those prayers you've prayed and see this situation as something that is bringing you into something bigger and better. And it might not happen immediately. You might go through something in my hand and you might not just become who you want to become. But the lessons learned in that situation, you never know when you might need it. You never know when it might help you. Life does not just give you answers, but it gives you experiences that shape you. It gives you experiences that shape your life. Look at your struggle through a lens of purpose. And if you want to achieve something big, you need to go through big problems. I know that can be annoying to hear at times, but it's part of life. Honestly, there's some things that just happen to me, and I'm like, it's part of life. I just have to go through this in order to become that woman that I want to become, in order to achieve those things that I want to achieve. And most of the time, growth happens in the quiet season. Growth happens when no one is watching you, when no one is like checking for you, when no one is on your page, when no one is patronizing your business. That's when the growth is happening. That's when life is teaching you resilience. That's when life is teaching you to make do with what you have, to be content, to be happy regardless of what is happening. And in the quiet season, it might seem like nothing is happening. But I want you to know that a deep internal transformation is on the horizon. Something bigger and better is happening. And at times, growth is disguised as discomfort, is disguised. Sometimes it can be really hard. And when I hear things like this at times from other people, I'm like, growth. Do I really have to go through all this just to grow? Like, do I really have to go through all this just to become a better person? And there are some things that I'm on the other side of now. And I'm realizing that, yeah, I really had to go through that because there was no way I could have had such a monumental shift in my life if I did not go through those things. You need to realize that your character, your discipline and patience are being formed in the dark, not on a stage. Sometimes in order for God to protect you, He keeps you in the dark, He isolates you, He keeps you from people seeing you so that you can achieve those things that you want to achieve. You need to normalize not always feeling strong but still growing because it's not every day that is going to be a good day. It's not every day that is going to be a perfect day. But even on those imperfect days, just see it as a what's the word? A situation to grow. Let's just put it like that. And even when it does not feel like it, you need to remember that you're always evolving. Even when it does not look like it, you're always evolving. Like you are growing. As long as you are able to pick the lessons from the situations that you're going through, as long as you're able to see and learn and not repeat certain mistakes again. Because if there's one thing that is going to happen is that life will keep throwing you the same situation over and over and over again until you learn the lesson that you're meant to learn from it. Now, I want to give you some tips on how to grow through what you're going through. Number one, feel, don't suppress. Don't suppress your emotion. Allow yourself to feel whatever is happening. Allow yourself to feel your feelings. Okay? Feel your feelings. You need to realize that your emotions are messengers, not your enemy. Your emotions are your messengers, not your enemy. Allow yourself to feel. I know a lot of times it's easy to want to numb how you are feeling, but I heard somewhere recently that when you are in a state of numbness, that means you are feeling overwhelmed. That you are overwhelmed with emotions, not that you are not feeling anything. You are so overwhelmed with emotions, you don't know which emotion to pick. So, yeah, the second one is journal your process. Reflect on what you're learning at the moment. Write your pain, your thoughts, and your lessons. In a few episodes back, I talked about 10 habits that have improved my life. Yes. and I talked about journaling, and I said I'm a vent through writing kind of girl. So whenever I'm going through hard times, I write every single thing down, and it just helps me to process my emotions better. It just helps me to see the bigger picture. At times it doesn't. At times I'm just like, oh God, I beg. But at times it helps me to see the bigger picture. The third one, seek purpose in pain. Even if the purpose is not obvious yet, trust that there's a bigger picture. Trust that there's something better. Trust that God has your back. God will never allow you to go through something if it wasn't meant for your good. Because the Bible says He works everything for our good. Every single thing, both the good and the bad. Anchor yourself in a higher purpose. Number four, surround yourself with people who remind you of who you are becoming. Surround yourself with good community. Surround yourself with good support systems. People that cheer you on, people that hype you up, people that do not let you feel like you're alone. And the last but not the least, take small steps forward. You need to realize that growth is not about giant leaps, but consistent moving. It's about the small steps. It's about the little things that you do. It's about being consistent with things that you're doing. So keep moving. And remember to shower yourself with self-love. Take care of yourself. Like, be there for yourself. Do not abandon yourself in these hard times. Just be there for yourself and remember that this is not the end, it's just a chapter, and every chapter comes to an end. Every chapter comes to an end, and after this chapter I am sure that there's a beautiful chapter that's coming soon. So some reflection questions that I want you guys to journal about. And yeah, number one, what is something I went through that made me stronger or better? Number two, what am I currently going through and what could it be teaching me? Number three, who am I becoming through this? So those are some journal prompts that I'm giving you just to think about, marinate about, and just put in maybe in the night when you're journaling or in the morning, just a few questions for you to think about. And yeah, you need to trust God through this process. You need to trust in God. Like I said, He works everything out for our good, both the good and the bad. Everything out, everything is working out for our good. And you know what happens to you, but you're who you choose to become after it. Your pain has purpose, your story has power, and your healing is your rebirth. You need to keep going through what you're going through. Like, just keep going. I know sometimes it's just like, do I really have to go through this? Like, I ask myself at times, like, does this really have to happen to me? But at times, it really has to happen to you. It really has to happen to you. Don't rush the process, and the things that you're going through now are shaping you to the version of you that you've been praying to become. Just trust the process. Be where your feet are, and romanticize your life also through this process. It can be hard, I know, but just trust that everything is working out for your good. Thank you guys so much for listening to this podcast episode. I'm so grateful, and I hope to see you guys next week. Until next time, keep evolving, and yeah, guys, bye. Mwah.
Angel, thank you for listening to another episode of our Evolution Diary podcast. I hope you guys had a nice time. Make sure to leave your takeaways and anything that you learned from this episode in the comment section. You can DM me on Instagram. Make sure to leave a rating and a review. Every link you need will be in the description box or in the show notes. Thank you so much for listening. I love you so much. Bye. Have a great day. Mwah.